Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is DarkJack, and in this gameplay I'm showing you highlights from 3 good games that I got over the course of an hour of playing Black Ops 2, where I go 16-0, 24-0, and 25-2, for a total score of 65-2, after adopting my defensive playstyle for Black Ops 2. And what I've learned after playing this game for quite a while is that this game is no different than any other Call of Duty game. If you want to do well consistently, if you want to have a high kill-death ratio, you have to adopt a defensive style of play, rather than rushing around. So because death is almost instantaneous in this game, players who play defensively, use cover and good tactics, will almost always have the advantage in gunfights over rushers who blindly charge into situations that they're unprepared for. So as you can see from the highlights from these games, I'm playing very defensively and I'm using cover, and I consistently do well because I always have the advantage in gunfights over my enemy. And the setup I'm using in this gameplay is I'm using the LSW and the FAL, two of my favorite guns, and I'm using those with quick draw and target finder with the reflex sight. And in my gameplays, I'm always using guns that are good at long range, and I'm moving from cover to cover until I reach a point where I have an advantage over the enemy, and where I can hold down a fort and let the enemy come to me rather than me going to them. So because the enemy is always coming to me, what that means is that I have the advantage in gunfights because they're rushing and they don't know where I am, but I always know where they're going to come from. And what I'm doing is that I'm playing defensively and I'm using Bettys and shock charges to watch my back. So I'll put down a bouncing Betty and a shock charge on top of that. So what happens is that when an enemy tries to flank around me, they'll hit my shock charge and that will stun them, and then the Betty will kill them. That way they can't go down prone or crouch to avoid the Betty. And this is an extremely effective and useful tactic, although it's pretty cheap, I'll admit. And what I've also found is that the target finder is incredibly overpowered. The target finder is ridiculous on big maps. If you use the target finder on a map like Turbine or Carrier, where there are lots of snipers, it's easy to see the enemies on the other team. And so after using it myself, I almost always want to put Cold-Blooded on. That way people can't use it against me. Because it's so powerful, because it gives you an additional zoom that the reflex sight does not. Even if the enemy is not using Cold-Blooded, it's still easier to see them. So if you want a high kill-death ratio in this game, if you want a high win-loss ratio, if you want to do well on a consistent basis, then stop using an SMG. Stop rushing around and instead adopt a good long-range assault rifle like the FAL or the M8, or an LMG like the LSW, which is great because of its high rate of fire. And you'll do much better. So when I first started playing this game, I had a 2.1 KD playing on my other account, rushing around with an SMG without Ghost. But then on my main account, I was able to knock it up to about a 2.5 KD, and I got stuck there at around 2.5 rushing. Then after adopting my defensive playstyle, I now have a 3 KD, after doing consistently well with long-range weapons. And I'm doing well. I'm holding between a 2.5 to a 5 KD each game, after adopting this playstyle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you want to do well Black Ops 2, you have to play defensively, and you have to use long-range weapons rather than rushing around. That's just the way this game is. It's the same as every other Call of Duty game. And I'll see you guys later.